Okay, I am back. Let me fix this camera. Okay, I am back. Had to take yesterday off because I was working on some freelance stuff and ran out of time. And I'm late today because I was working on some freelance stuff and I had to clean up. So anyway, couple of things on this Roberta, which she's looking pretty good. There's a lot of her done. As you can see, her body doesn't stay up. And the reason is because I never put a, guy sound like Beyonce, never put a ring on this this neck sleeve. So I'm going to do that right now. And that's going to be something because usually I do it before I attach it. So I'm actually going to have to turn this whole thing in my sewing machine when I get to that point. So that should be fun to watch. So anyway, I'm going to get started doing that. And the only other thing I need to do really is I need to address these antennae. I still have to paint the eyes. I haven't done that yet. I'll try to do that tonight. I just keep pushing it off every day. Extend all these videos. So anyway, here she is. I better make sure this is all clean. Pretty good. Okay. I haven't been gluing in the house, so it. I haven't been gluing in the house, so everything should be pretty clean. Okay, so I need to figure out. You'd think of as many of these neck sleeves I've made, I would know how long this is. I think it's 15 inches, but let's find out. Maybe I'll get the ruler. So it's 8, so that would be 16. I think I make it just a little bit. It's not quite 8. Yeah, I think it's 15. Look at that. Okay. Let me go get some boning. I may have done this in one of the other feeds. I can't remember. I wrote it down. Good for me. Okay, so I need a 15-inch around. I don't know what the diameter that is. So I need to add a couple inches to it. So let's see, 17 inches. Okay. Right about there. I'm not showing you anything on camera, so just 1 second. Okay. So I measured this out to be about 17 inches. Just a little shy, but doesn't really matter. Okay, so I want to cut off about an inch and a half of, well, maybe an inch. Let's try an inch. I want to cut about an inch of this actual boning material off. And then I want to fold it under on one side and over on the other. Yeah, I need a little bit more. So go under here, over here. Fancy today. Okay. I should do it. Okay. I think I'll probably end up not doing live streams every day. We'll see what happens, at least for the next 2 weeks. Because I did get a few really good jobs lined up, but I got to knock them out off camera. But I have to keep my ones of viewers happy. So I don't want to stop doing it too much. You can tell I've been gluing and sewing because look at all this glue and fuzz that's attached to my fingers. All right. Did I already mess this up? Looks like it. Yep. Let's see who's here. Hey, TC, how's it going? Oh, fantastic. Puppet ones or live ones? He said he's sewing puppet paws. Or puppy paws. Okay, here we go. Yeah, for some reason, and I don't always put neck rings on. Like for a while there, I wasn't because I didn't have any boning, but I don't always do it, but it does help quite a bit. I actually need to make a few of these because of I'm making a bunch of puppets and they all need neck rings. It just makes it so easy to much easier to get your hands in and out of the puppet, and it also gives you a way to lock the the body in place. I don't know if that'll work on Roberta, but it works on most of the other puppets. Some frogs to dogs. So Jim Henson did it. I suppose this live stream for a while could turn into me just making all the stuff that doesn't matter, or doesn't matter to the projects I'm working on. Like I could do all the hands on here. I could do all the neck rings. Could do all the neck tubes, the arm rods. I don't know. If that sounds interesting, let me know. It's like, here we are on day 50 of me making arm rods. Okay. At least my sewing machine is all put together, although I got to change out the foot on it. All right, so I'm going to put this on here. Turn it up. This is so weird. Like this, I made this thing years ago. I made this, I'm trying to remember when I started this head. It was in the old shop. I think Sarah and I were still together. So probably about 2011, 2012. And you can see I have the neck ring inside out. It should have the threads on the outside. Oh well, who's gonna see it? I'm just always kind of interested in the way my building techniques have changed over the years. So I'm just taking these little clips and I'm clipping it in fairly evenly with like an inch. I guess this is hem all the way around. I think I'm going to go get a plastic bag and put her head in it so that I don't get the hair and everything all gummed up in my sewing machine. Just 1 second. This is what I get for doing it out of order. I'll probably be demonetized for this as well. Okay. Sometimes what I was doing was I would if I had abandoned an old puppet, or if I had I gotta change that walking foot. If I had started a puppet and I had to abandon it for something else, like a paying gig, if I had made an arm sleeve for it, I would just pull that off and put it around the puppet I was working on to save time. I don't know if in the long run it really does save time because they're pretty easy to make, but that's why a lot of the older puppets that I've worked on, I have issues with the arm rod or the arm sleeve because it no longer has one. How do I do that? There's a little thing here someplace. Is that it? Yeah, there we go. Ouch. Well, those of you playing bingo, I just hurt myself, so I think that's a free square. Sprung with. See, if I had had time, I could have done this on my own time. Oh my gosh. I'm sure many of you people who know how to sew are cursing at the screen right now. I should have just done it with a walking foot on. There we go. Okay. I was going to do it with a red thread, but talked myself out of it. I suppose I could give you guys a little bit better view of what I'm doing here. think I have enough on that bobbin. Ah, I hope you guys aren't trying to learn something on this machine, on this on this live stream. Okay, here we go. Ah, looks like my showing machine. I have a Brother PS 700. What do I have? I have a Brother Strong and Tough ST 371 HD. I also have the Project Runway version of a really bad machine. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to feed this thing down under there. Oh, man. This is not my day. I think I must have loosened that needle. Okay, here's that. There's my little tool. Like I said, I hope nobody's trying to learn anything. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, it's not threaded anymore. All right, let's try this again. Ah, all this fuzz on my hands drive me crazy. I hope, for those of you just tuning in to the Frustrated Tailor, okay, here we go now. Now I think I got it. Put down. It took me forever to realize that this part of the sewing machine comes off so that you can do sleeves and things, but it works great for this. Oops. Shot rings out. Thank goodness. Oh boy, the bobbin ran out. Boy, this is like off. This is just off the charts today. Much like Mr. Rogers, though, you notice that I have not resorted to swearing. Okay, we're just going to use white thread. Do it again. See, I told you that most of puppetry is problem solving. Who knew most of puppetry was problem solving your sewing machine? All right. Cut off this. Pin it again. Oh, just practice, everybody. Things I do to keep a live stream going. All right. Let's try this again. This would have been so much easier had I remembered to do this back when I made this neck sleeve. Of course, I probably still would have had sewing machine issues. Whew. Thanks for joining me on this marathon. What else is going to go wrong in this puppet? Let's see. Okay. All right. Well, that wasn't so bad. Well, hello there, Small Bug Studio. How's it going? You missed all the excitement. I think for the last, 45 minutes, I've been dealing with a sewing machine. All right, we're done with the sewing machine. I think. Okay. right. Yeah, I've been, I don't, do you know me through the comicking? I'm not sure who you are. Are you, somebody I've talked to before? Small bug? I feel like you're in the comics end of things. All right. So let's see. Well, that did nothing other than just make it easier to put my hand up inside. Oh my God. I'm going to have to cut that neck ring, I think. All right, so there she is. A little bit closer. Yeah, Baker Tunes. Hey, how's it going? Oh, Charles Brubaker. Oh my God. Oh my God, I haven't talked to you forever. Yeah, I'm still chugging away, still making melancholy puppets and occasionally drawing. Okay, so I'm going to have to deal with how to make this body. Oh my God. Just a second. I'm going to have to deal with how to make this body fit in place. And I think I'm just going to use the tried and true method of putting a safety pin in there. If I grab a safety pin. I do. Very small one. What? I drew one on here about a month ago or 2 months ago. I'm constantly shocked by how many puppets are held together with safety pins and shoelaces. All right, so now her body's in place. Okay, now I got to deal with these antennae. And the biggest thing about these antennae is that they have the old nubs from the old one, which I have to remove now. So this should be fun. You see these little pins here? I think they're all sewn in. It might be easiest just to go in through here. It's all sewn to her scalp. Oh, what was I thinking? Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can get this out of here. I don't want to take this whole wig off. It was such a pain to get on there. There we go. Okay, so the way I used to do this is there's a little like stand that I made out of wire that kind of worked. And I would just sew it in place. I'll pull it out of here in a second. Problem is they never held them straight. They always would get all messed up. I'm going to have to do the same thing on Mayberry coming up. brain surgery. Wish I'd use black thread, then I could actually see it. I think I would tie knots just about every time. Try and get it, so it didn't come loose. I might see if I have a seam ripper handy. This wouldn't even be an issue if I hadn't liked the way that I did Ralph's antenna. But I was perfectly content with these as flawed as they were. Okay, here we go. So this is what was in there. This is just a little piece of wire that I bent, like a 4-leaf clover with a little stalk on it. And then what would happen was, I think I threw out the, did I? No? Yeah. Okay, so what would happen was, I'd have this embedded in her head, and then I'd stick that on there like that to make the antenna, and then I made this like little sock. Well, I'm not going to put it on there because it's so difficult to get it off. That would go over that, and that would be the way the antennas were. But for whatever reason on this puppet, that they were always splayed out one way or the other. So I think I'm going to do something a little bit more substantial. Yeah. Well, if you weren't here, let me show you that I actually accomplished something here. This is the Ralph I just built. Yeah. So this is kind of the beginning of me getting back into doing the melon pool puppets again. And then, of course, because I can't leave well enough alone, I also built Ralphie. So there he is. So I had Roberta about half done up on the wall. And so that's why doing that, I just decided I would finish her as well. And then straight on to Sammy. Yeah, I just really could never find her work as a cartoonist. So when my graphic design job ended, I basically started doing puppetry full time again. Were you with CameSpot? I can't remember. Oh wait, Brubaker. Okay, you're the ones. You do all the You do all the you did the witch comic, and then you did one with all the little animals. You did like a bunch of really like lengthy updates for a while there of some books you were doing. That's you, right? Okay, yeah. Sorry, it's been a while. Well, I did a comic about my dog. That was one that I did. Sit Till He Sit, and I did a bunch of different collections of the Melonpool stuff. Keep threatening to bring that one back. I did Cryptozoa. I've done a lot of the 24-hour comics. I don't remember how many I've done of those. And this is going to look terrible under her hair, but who cares? It looks like I shot myself in the foot here and actually attached these little nub things to her hair. To her head before I put the hair on. I think on Mayberry I usually do it the opposite, where I sew it on after the fact. Oh boy, that was easy. Okay. I haven't decided yet if I want to re-sew her hair on before it. Yeah, I probably should. Got dandruff now. I think it's so funny that in building these puppets online, like at the end of it, I may have finished one thing, but I've destroyed 5 or 6 others. Oh yeah, it's the hair isn't the issue. The hair is great. It's the antenna that were the problem. Okay. Okay. Here I can expand this out a little bit. Get a lint roller. Okay. That's red. There, that's brown. Every day this thing looks like a crime scene. Okay. I was just reading your posts. I also did a bunch of animation for a few years. My YouTube page is full of it. I was hoping animation would be my main thing, but I couldn't get much traction with it and was losing me money. So I went back to comics. Hair looks right. Okay. Somebody took Roberta's eye. Her eyes are right over here. I just have to paint them. But because I'm so busy making all these other things on her, I haven't been able to go out and get and paint them. And actually, it probably should be the last thing I put on anyway, both for focusing reasons and so I don't scratch them up from all this manhandling I'm doing right now. Okay. This shouldn't take very long. I'm trying to only do things I think I can finish. Although that's not true because I'm probably going to start the antenna. I mean, the good news is I don't have to put a neck ring on Mayberry. He already has one, I think. Yeah, he has one. Sam has one. Have you ever done sculptures or anything with your characters? Or done any like 3D stuff? Not necessarily 3D animation or whatever, but like realize them in 3 dimension, like making puppets and stuff or toys. The nice thing about hair is when you break a stitch or something or end up with a long thread, it just kind of blends in. So get a big old knot. Bad thing about hair is that there's so much um, fuzz it generates. But Roberta and Mayberry are so easy compared to Ralph and Ralphie. Oh my gosh. All those tufts. I'll let you guys know. Okay. Well, it says you said that's one of your goals. That's which I mean, it's interesting. It's a process in itself. I I got some Sculpey at one point and did a good chunk of the characters. I think I did all the characters at one point or another. In Sculpey, that was interesting. Especially when characters are designed for animation or comics and they don't really exist in 3 dimensions. Like they don't like a good example are the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Um, there's no way that Scooby-Doo's profile and three-quarter view match up. So see all this business here? I've got to address that now because it'll just unravel if I don't tie it off. And they still unravel. Hopefully that wasn't what I just sewed. The original Roberta, the first one I built, what a monstrosity that was. But I built her in 2001, and I went over to a costume shop because I needed a wig, and I didn't know where to get them. And I had the bald Roberta in a plastic bag, in a paper bag, and walked in there, and the clerk goes, "What's in the bag?" And I go, "A puppet." And she goes, "Oh, can I see it?" And so I brought her out. She goes, "Oh, she's really cool. What do you need?" And I said, "Well, I need a wig. Do you have any that I could buy?" And she's like, "Oh, we don't really sell wigs. We just rent them out. But we do have a bunch that are no longer rentable because they're in such bad condition. You can have one of those for like, I think it was $5 or something like that." So I sifted through it and I found this ratty old wig and bought it and fashioned it into the beginnings of a ponytail. It was awful. But I had that puppet. That was the only Roberta I built for probably, I want to say I used it for at least 7 years. Till finally I rebuilt her to the one just before this. I'm not sure what happened to that one. I might have thrown it out when I started this one because I know that her ponytail is from I've used the same ponytail since that one. Okay, well, her hair's back on. Okay. Oh yes, I've seen those sculpts of Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Those are neat. Uh, Got to get into her head. Um, yeah, I'm curious how my characters would look in 3D. I've considered commissioning someone to make a 3D sculpt of Lauren that I can 3D print off to have on my desk. Yeah, I've never done a 3D print. I've seen some people try and build the multiple characters, but they're so like a lot of people can't even. Most people can't draw these characters. I used to joke that I was the only person on Earth that could draw these characters. Um, then I met Christina Bustamante, and she could draw them better than I could. Um, but okay, so trying to see what I want to do now. If I want to try and tackle these antenna now that I'm set to. Oh, she's still got fuzz in her hair. When I say fuzz, what she has is the remnants of that pink thread that was holding her antenna on, her old antenna on. Okay. Let me see. I can at least try. Okay, there's a welding rod. Okay, I'm gonna try and figure out how big it needs to be. Okay, I want it to kind of conform to her head, and then I also want it to go up. So just a second, I have a little jig that I can. Wait, I should mark it. Okay, I want it to go back like this. Maybe I'll even them out. I'll split the difference. Okay. I mean, I just want to make sure that I get them in the same position. Otherwise, they'll be just as cockeyed as the old ones. All right. So here's the new antennas. And they're a little long. They're also not quite straight. All right, so that'll go in there like so. Her antenna should be about there. I'll go up just a little bit past that. And I want to measure how long that is. Looks like 5.5. Wait. Yep, 4.5. This may end up just being a prototype of it. It's good to make prototypes though, because then I can put them in with the pattern, and then remember it later. Okay. I think I'll probably have to put this in a vise and pull this down. Maybe. Okay. All right. All right. So here's where we're at with this now. This'll I'll feed this under the hair. And then put some shrink tubing on it. Actually, I may do the shrink tubing before I put it on there so I don't burn all his hair. I kind of think I have to put a zigzag. So I think I need to put a zigzag like this so that it won't tip forward or back. This is a good starting point. And I also want to make that a better turn. But yeah. So what the next steps would be to I would put shrink tubing on here on these two stalks, and then shrink it down, and then put a little dab of propoxy on the top here, and let that cure up for the two knobs on here. And then once that's all dry, hit it with some black spray paint, and then the antenna will be ready. I just have to get it in there to secure. And again, I do think I need a zigzag in there. So I said I wasn't going to start anything I couldn't finish, but I'm starting something I didn't finish. I've got to make a new one of these that won't tip forward or back right now. So I think this is the shape I need to do. Let me get it. So right now, it's that. Okay, right now it's that. I think what it needs to be, I think from the front, it needs to look like that. And from the top, so this is where it goes up, it needs to be something like that. So that think it needs to be like that. So that way it won't tip forward and back. Which is doable. Just you have to do it in the right order. But I'm tired. I was up all night working on this project, so I think this is it for today. I did an hour and a half, or hour and 15 minutes. So it was good seeing you again, Charles. And I hope to see you on here again. If I were you, I would get some Sculpey and try making one of your characters and see where that gets you. Rather than leaving it up to an outside designer to try and interpret your work, because you have a very distinctive style, and I'd hate to have somebody else interpreting it to make it look different. Actually, I think I know where the melon pool, at least a couple of the melon pool ones are. Let me just one second. Well, I thought they were with the melon pool characters, but or with the Jetsons characters on my shelf, or my Star Trek characters, because that makes sense. But they weren't there. But I did find this. This is a little sculpture of my dog that I did. That was Sculpey, and it it turned out halfway decent. Let's see if I can get a better shot. There you go. So, I mean, it is possible. And it's fairly easy to work with. So, anyway. All right. Okay. Well, I will. I'll see you guys later, and I'll try to be on tomorrow. It may not be tomorrow, but I'll at least be on every other day. So, all right. I'll talk to you later. At least for the next 2 weeks.